What's going on, people? It's your boy Kelechi back with another episode of the Rambling Mind Podcast. How are each and every single one of y'all doing today? I hope y'all are staying safe. I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves. I hope y'all are doing all the things you know you ought to do during these times, my friends. Man, I should have never left y'all without a dope pod to step to. What has it been? 2 weeks since I've been in front of a hot mic? My goodness. But your boy done grown up. In them 2 weeks, lots happened. Lots have changed. Your boy's now grown. It's a whole lot of life. And one day, we'll share all those stories. But that day's not today. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are staying safe. Hope y'all are taking care of yourselves. For the topic of today, I decided maybe it's time for us to go back a little bit. Go back to some of the basics of personal finances. As we like to talk about, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And because it's a marathon, sometimes, because the road can get very long, sometimes we need to be reminded about some of the basics of our finances. I'm going to be calling this series Basic Money Lessons. And the first lesson that we're going to be talking about today is tracking your income and spending. And I'm going to say this. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how rich you are. There's one thing that you will always have to do when it comes to your money, and that is tracking your income and your expenses. Even Jeff Bezos still tracks his income and his expenses. And before y'all get all crazy on me, and before y'all go all, no way he does it, he's so rich, it just looks different. For him, tracking his income and expenses is why he has all the financial planners and financial advisors around him. Their entire job is to ensure that he can spend money on whatever it is that he wants to spend money on, and he can do whatever he wants with his money. They do all the nickel and diamond searching for all the money in his accounts. They're the ones that track his income and his expenses. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter where you think your income is as you make more and more money, that you think like, I don't have to keep tracking my expenses. Because something I've noticed is for a lot of people, after we get to a certain income level, usually it's right about when we hit $100,000 a year, we kind of stop doing the things that made us successful when it comes to our finances. And then all of a sudden we wake up one day and we're like, why does it feel so tight? Why does my financial picture looks so bleak? Why does money feel terrible right now? I should be doing better than I've ever done before. And the answer is simply, we stopped doing some of the things that actually benefited us when we first started with our personal finance. Now, it's important to note, I say we keep doing it. It doesn't mean we keep doing it the same way. It doesn't mean we keep doing the things that we exactly the same way when we first started with our personal finance as we are doing it now, or as we progress and get better with our finances. Example is when you first get started with your personal finance journey, when it comes to tracking your expenses and tracking your income, you might have had to track every single cent that was entering and leaving your accounts. You had to stay on top of every single dollar to make sure that you accounted for every single thing, and make sure that whenever anything was leaving your account, you knew about it right then and there, because you were still learning the skill set of handling money. You are still learning the skill set of how to be better with your money. You are still learning the skill set of trying to control what you were spending your money on and what you weren't spending your money on. You are still learning some of the basics of finances. And so you had more of a heavy-handed practical practice of handling and tracking your expenses. But you can't stay there either. As you progress, as you get better with your finances, you may get to a point where you're more of a money manager. where you don't have to know all the nooks and crannies of what's going on with your finances. You just kind of oversee everything that's going on. You've automated a lot of stuff in your life. You've automated all how you pay your bills. You've automated making sure that your credit card is paid on time. You've automated saving. You've automated a lot of these things. And so you kind of just oversee the picture of what's going on with your money. But something I've noticed is it's very easy to slip from overseeing and managing your finances into not checking at all, into just allowing things to just be the way they are, just letting things be, just letting things just continue to happen as life, because life will happen. Life will definitely happen. As life happens to us, all of a sudden, we just go into a mode of, I think I'm fine. I think things are generally good. So I don't really need to check these things. I don't really need to be on top of my finances like that. I don't really need to do all of the things that I used to do. And we go into this lackadaisical state where all of a sudden we wake up one day after going on vacation after vacation, after having unexpected expenses after unexpected expenses, and we look up and we're like, holy crap, where is this bill coming from? Why is my credit card bill so high and I don't have the money to cover everything that's in here? What the heck happened? This is why I am sharing this with everybody. Tracking your expenses, just like working out when it comes to personal finance, is not something you do once and then you never do again. It's not something you only do for a short period of time and you don't have to do again. It's a lifestyle. It is something that you are always going to have to do. But like I said, it doesn't mean you're going to do it the exact same way that you've always done it. It's just like when it comes to working out. When I first started working out, I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing all kinds of stuff. Then as I got better and I found routines that worked for me, I figured out what was a good thing that I could use to make sure that I was in the gym all the time, to make sure that I was consistently working out. And I had different practices of like, sometimes I need to go heavy. I need to go back to the old days of like, it doesn't matter where I am. It doesn't matter what I have to do. I have to be in the gym every single day and I have to sacrifice what I need to sacrifice to make sure I'm in there. But then there are seasons where it's like, you know what? I just need to do the basic stuff. I just need to make sure that I'm moving my body. I just need to make sure that I'm getting some kind of physical exercise because I have tool sets. I have different things that I can call on to shift into whenever I need to go back to the gym. And it's the same way when it comes to our finances, especially when it comes to tracking your budget or tracking your money. There are periods in time where you got to be heavy-handed. Like, yo, we just had a bunch of unexpected expenses. I got to get back on the ones and twos when it comes to my finances. I got to get back on the basics. I got to make sure that I'm looking at every single dollar that's coming in and out of my account to make sure that I'm back on top of things for a short period of time. And then there are times where it's just like, I just need to manage. I just need to look over the whole thing, make sure that the money is going where it needs to go. I don't necessarily need to be as heavy-handed on top of it. And one of the things I've noticed is with the proliferation of a lot of budgeting apps, like the ones that I talk about, whether it be Mint, whether it be Monarch Money, whether it be Copilot, whether it be You Need a Budget, whatever the app is, Simplify by Quicken, all of these different apps, regardless of what the app is, it is easy to start believing that the app in and of itself is how you're tracking your finances. To believe that once you set up your app and the app is categorizing your spending and the app is putting your money where it needs to go and the app is checking for all these different things that, oh yeah, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm tracking my finances. Like I know the category of this and the category of that. It's like, I'm good. But the thing about tracking your finances is not just about knowing that I spent $500 eating out last month. It's taking the information and then making a plan with that information. That is the whole point of using those apps. All those apps do is help you make the information faster because it allows you to gather the data you need to make that decision a little bit faster. But if you're taking all that data, or rather if that data is just being categorized in the background, but you're never pulling it up to the surface for you to actually use it to make decisions, it is a waste of your money and a waste of your time to do. Because all you're doing is going through the motions. And I speak about this out of experience. I remember the first time I got Mint. I was like, oh, I'm doing so much. I'm categorizing all my money. I'm making sure it's going to the right place. And I was like, this is all I need to do. Well, meanwhile, in the background, I wasn't actually using that information to make better decisions. I was seeing that I was spending $400 eating out, but then I wasn't making a decision like, oh, maybe I need to adjust that. I was just like, well, my money is getting categorized. I'm tracking my money. I'm tracking my spending. I wasn't using the information to make better decisions. Remember, these apps are not the things that are going to help you get better with money. These apps are just tools to help you get information a little bit faster so you can make better decisions with your finances. That's all they do. They do not actually do the hard work for you. The hard work of sitting down, looking over your finances, looking over your spending, looking at how the last month has gone so you can make adjustments for this new month, saying, we've been spending $500 eating out. We need to cut that back this month. We need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. We know we have a car maintenance coming up this month. How can I adjust things so it can go to the right place? All you're doing is using the information from those apps, using the information from tracking your spending to actually make a plan. But it's so easy when we get to a certain level, when we've been doing this for a little bit, that we can start forgetting the things that brought us to where our finances are in a good spot, and then fall back into some bad habits where things are just going on in the background and we're not paying attention anymore. We're no longer paying attention, especially when life goes full life. When things that we don't expect to happen show up. When there's so much going on in life. And then all of a sudden it's just like, you know what? I'm going on autopilot. And usually that is the time that we have to buckle down and really look deep. When you have a lot of life events happening, that is not the time for you to spend more money just to make things happen. That is the time for you to actually take a step back and say, okay, let's review things. Sometimes you're just gonna be like, I don't want to do it, but it may mean that I don't want to make any decisions right now. I don't want to make a decision to make any large purchases right now. There's an old saying, halt. Don't make a decision when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Another way to put that is when life gets tough, when life gets hard, when things are just bleak. Don't make a decision then. You need to wait. You need to decide that, you know what, we need to put everything on pause. We need to just hold. We need to just stand firm for this period of time before we dig ourselves into a deeper grave. So this is why I'm bringing this stuff, because this is stuff that I'm seeing for myself. It's like you start making a little bit of extra coins in your pocket, and then it's easy to go into the mindset of like, yo, I'm rich now. Like I ain't gotta be checking things like I used to. Like that's what I make money for now. You know what? I ain't gotta do all of these other things. But no. No. You may not be as active in the process as you always have been, but you have to stay on top of it. It doesn't matter who I talk to, no matter how much money they make, they still track their spending. Ramit Sethi, he may not do the nickel and diamond tracking of expenses, but he knows exactly and stays on top of how his money is being spent. He may not worry about the small numbers or worry about like comparing prices or anything, but you know one thing, he knows how much money is being spent on a regular basis. And so I just bring this back to you for us to start like thinking about going back to the basics, starting with the basics again. Have we lost track of some of the things that have been good for us because life has happened? If we have, it's time for us to get back on that horse. It's time for us to get back to some of the basic things that we did that made us successful with our finances. What have I been doing with tracking my expenses? Is the system that I used before, is it actually still beneficial from where I am right now? Do I need to do something else? Do I need to change the process up? Because part of the reason is also like, if we try to use our current situation, but using old tools for our current situation, sometimes that's why it's hard, because it no longer works for us. It no longer serves us. And so it's for us to actually look for new ways of doing things, which can be a pain. But you need to do that in order for you to continue pushing forward. And when we choose not to do that, that's when we feel the frustrations. That's when we're like, you know what, forget this. I'm done. I make enough money to not have to worry about this anymore. And then all of a sudden we go months and then we look up one day and we're like, how the heck did I end up here? So again, we got to get back to the basics. Track your spending, track your income and your spending so you know where you're headed, so you know if things are still on the right path, so you know like things aren't just falling along the wayside. And I promise you, if you haven't done this in a long time, like I always used to say, you're gonna be surprised, because all of a sudden you'll be like, for some of us, we realize like, yo, I'm making more money than I used to make, but yet why does things still feel tight? Why does things still feel like I'm not making as much progress as I felt I should be making as I make more money? And then all of a sudden you're gonna see, oh, it's because I've been eating out more. It's because I've been traveling a little bit more. A lot of these things all of a sudden come to the surface, and then we're like, now I can make better decisions. So this is just a reversion to some of the money basics. Track your expenses. Use that information to make a plan for yourself. Don't forget the importance of doing some of the basic things that made you successful just because you're in a comfortable place right now. For some of you, stop nickel and diming yourselves. Start having a manager approach. Start looking over everything from a big picture perspective. Not looking at each and every singular factor, but having an overarching view of how your money is going. And for some of us, you need to go back to nickel and diming because you've allowed things to get so out of whack that you have to do that to bring things back, to rope things back into place. You have to reinstate that discipline on yourself. So there's not a one size fits all. There are multiple ways to achieve this, but understand this, like I said earlier, this is a lifestyle. It is not a one and done thing. This is something that we have to find ways to always include in our lifestyle. And we need to stop thinking of it as something we just do once and we are done. This isn't a diet fad. This is a lifestyle change. This is a lifestyle switch. This is something that we will continue to do to ensure that we are successful when it comes to our finances. So I would like to hear, where are you guys? Message me, hit me back, email me back at kelechi@ramblingmindshow.com. Hit me at on Instagram at @KelechIwuaba or on Threads at @KelechIwuaba. Hit me up, message me, let me know, where are you guys at? Because this was over the last 2 weeks, I had a lot going on. And part of it was going back to the basics for my finances, making sure things are still moving in the direction that they needed to go. So let me know, where are you guys when it comes to this financial picture? Are you somebody who needs to rediscipline themselves to go back to the basics and do everything nickel and dime yourself? Or are you somebody who needs to switch up their approach and actually let go a little bit and have a managerial approach to how you're managing your money, of an overarching looking over and setting up systems to make sure you don't mess yourself up too much as things are becoming a little bit more complicated in your financial life? I hope this helped one, maybe two people out there, and I hope that this is something of a reminder for all of us as we start talking about some of the basic money lessons again. Some of the things that helped us in the past that we may have forgotten about because we've moved to other things. But we need to remind ourselves that the basics are basics for a reason. They are the foundation of what we use to get to higher levels. And sometimes we got to go back to the foundation. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all in this episode. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire episode. And if you did, share this podcast with one person that you love, one person that you hate, and one person you're just kind of like, about. And by that time, you to share it with every single person that you know. And while you're doing that, leave a review on the podcast on whatever platform that you're listening to this thing on. Well, I'm going to catch you up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all. And your boy is out of here. Peace. Whoosh.